What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, as you can see in the title. I'm going to be showing you guys my character stats, how I like to build my character, and the settings that I use for ARC. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is your character build. I would recommend going for a female character for PvP, just because as you can see, just by the defaults, the female character is a lot smaller, which makes your hitbox smaller. Another thing, hitbox matters about the size of your character. So I would recommend sliding all these bars down to the lowest to minimize your hitbox. Smaller your hitbox, harder it is for you to get hit. Some people like to go the route of long arms and very large hands, because when you are holding a gun, it will make them hit your hands instead of your chest, but I don't think that's a good thing to do, so I wouldn't recommend it. It just gives them a bigger target of something on your body. So, once you have everything small, lots of people like to go the darker skin colors in order to blend in more, but I prefer going about here, blend into the sand more. Just personal preference on that, and also hair color and eye color, whatever you guys like. I don't do this for my character. I like to be a little bit unique. I'll show you guys how I like to build my character. This is how I like to do my character. So, if you want to kind of copy what I do, you can pause at the certain settings. Everything is pretty small. I do raise stuff a little bit more. I think having everything super low makes your character look whack. So I like to make it a little bit more realistic. Just a personal preference. Okay guys, as you can see, 104 levels. I'm going to show you guys what I like to do for stats in what order. So first thing I do, I always get my movement speed all the way up to 131.5. Raptors run at the speed of 130, so this makes it so you can outrun them. They're really annoying early game, especially when you're trying to do note runs. Next thing I like to do is pump 1 into Fortitude. It makes it so a Trudon cannot one-hit you. So you won't get knocked out from one hit from a Trudon, and that's usually the one that surprises you the most, then you can run away. Next thing I like to do is pretty much allocate points into health up to about 250, just for survivability, stuff like that. And then I like to go weight all the way up to 300. So at this point, you're still usually in a note run. Note runs go to about level 70. I'm going to pump movement speed all the way up to level 80. So at level 80, you're getting into a little bit more late game. You have better kits. You got flamethrowers, fabbies, stuff like that. So I'm going to pump my weight 10 more times to level 90. This just allocates for your little bit heavier kits and stuff like that. Makes it so you can carry more, obviously. Next thing I like to do, I like to go health up to about 300. And then I would do the rest into movement speed. At this point, level 105, I like to end off with 300 health, 100 stam, 100 oxygen, 100 food, 100 water, 400 weight, 100 melee, 179.5 movement speed, 100% crafting skill, and 2 fortitude. Now, we're going to go into some settings. So, I like to play the game. I like to make the game look nice. So, volume doesn't matter, ambient volume, this all doesn't matter. So here, I like to play at the resolution 1920 by 1080. I play in windowed full screen so I can tab out and the game is still there. It's a personal preference. People say full screen gets more FPS. That's completely up to you guys. Resolution scale. I put resolution scale all the way up. Like I said, I like my game to look nice. World tile buffers, I go epic. View distance, epic. Anti-aliasing, I think that's how you say it. I don't know, epic. Post-processing, medium. Shadows low, train shadows low. This helps in two ways. This helps for PvP because the forests aren't as dark. And shadows are the biggest FPS PC destroying thing ever. Put them on low, your FPS will go up. Textures I keep on high. Sky quality is another one of those FPS things. It doesn't really change the game that much. So throw it all the way down. Another thing before we keep going, I have a 1060, a GTX 1060 graphics card, and 16 gigabytes RAM, and an i7 8700K for a processor. So if you guys have similar to me, this would be really good settings for you guys. My ground clutter density is all the way down. ground clutter distance all the way down. That's going to make it so you can see more on the ground. People can't hide in the little bushes that pop up and stuff like that. Like, I'll show you. I'm going to turn all this up. Like, look at this. Look how much more grass there is. It's just an FPS killer. Yeah, might look a little bit nicer, but for PvP, like, you'll see the difference right when I hit apply. See that? See how much grass disappeared? It's insane, and it just makes it a lot better. In my opinion, at least. When people drop stuff, you can see it. You can see your bag better. People laying in the bushes. Mesh level detail all the way down. It really doesn't change your game that much, but it really, really affects like your performance. So for these little settings, my friend Green, again, I'm going to mention him because I helped him out with his settings and it worked. He had these all random. So it really helped his game pretty much looked like it was drawn by crayons before he followed my settings. So this, high quality, check. Motion blur off, film grain off, field distance ambient, occlusion off. Screen space ambient occlusion on. Dynamic tessellation off. Distance field shadowing off. High quality materials on. Subsurface scattering on. High quality VFX on. Simple distant character movement off. High quality LODs on. Extra level streaming distance off. Color grading on. Light bloom off. Light shafts off. Low quality level streaming on. So light bloom and light shafts are these. I'll show you guys. It's terrible. Okay, so where's the sun? Do you see those? See those light shafts? Might look a little bit more realistic, but let me get into, like, look at that. Okay, we're going to stare at the sun. You see all those light blooms and light shafts? This is especially on, like, maps that have oceans facing the sun. Look at that. You can already see the difference. It doesn't blind you. It's amazing. You can actually see what you're looking at. Okay, let's go back into settings. Like to keep those off. Me, I like my item slot scale down here as small as possible. Right here, as small as possible. Some people, for some reason, like it giant. What does that do for you? It blocks your screen. Turn it down. This one doesn't really make a difference. That's too small. I like this. Like, this is too small. I keep that in the middle. Oh, brought off the settings. But this item slot one, like, it doesn't need to be, like, this is normal settings. It doesn't need to be that big. You should know where you keep your stuff. You shouldn't have to look down and be like, oh, press 4. Keep it down, okay? Camera shake scale all the way off. Obviously, when things walk by you, it doesn't shake your camera a lot. Stuff like that. Camera FOV all the way up. This is a huge priority. For an example, see this tree right here? Right? Say I have it where Arc normally puts it. Bam. This is the arc normal. Like, look, I'm going to line it up right at the edge of that tree, right? And turn it to where I have it. Look at this. Watch this. Look how much more. That's like almost a quarter of my screen more. Just because of that little setting. Sensitivity, it's all option. I like to keep my sensitivity. So this is a good tip for any FPS game. But my mousepad space, oh, this thing's going to interrupt me. So I like to look at something, be able to turn my mouse through my whole mousepad space and end at approximately exactly a 360. So usually you play with your mouse right in the middle. If I jump, I want to be able to 180. Look at that. Perfect 180s. Going half my mouse space. 360, you know what I mean? So that's what I like to do, is make it so that my sensitivity is exactly 1/360 is all the way across my mouse pad. So you know if someone is directly to your right, you go to a quarter of your mouse pad. Right? It's just kind of learned. Third person camera offset off, invert Y off, disable third party camera, whatever, off. These are my settings I like to use. There's advanced settings in here. I like to have sounds, melee camera animations off. This makes it better for fighting. Blood damage on, floating names on, Joe notifications off. Just personal preference. Chat bubbles on, camera view bob on, first person writing off, status notification on, Fahrenheit temperature. I'm Canadian, I use Celsius. Auto chat box, I have it off so you guys don't see it spammed all the time. I hide my server info. I have the torpidity effect so I know when I'm getting damage. Chat show stream names, Steam names, yes. Show tribe names, yes. Toggle the talk off. I don't know why that's off. Toggle crosshair. I have my crosshair off because you guys know I have a custom crosshair. I allow hit markers and color item names. So like the names on the items are colored. That's pretty much it. Disable menu transactions. This is a big one. When you're opening up an inventory, if you don't have this clicked, it will take a second for your hand to come up and then the inventory will open. If this is checked, it will open up instantly and then your hand will come up. So if you're looting dead bodies and stuff like that, it makes it a lot quicker. I have no tooltip display. Disable menu music. I have this off. So those of you who get all your skins every time you die and don't like it, uncheck this and it won't give those items. Hide floating player names, quick toggle item names, show item selector button, play action wheel sound, toggle extended HUD info. So this, some people like it. I'll show you what it does. I use it sometimes. So I don't know why it's not working. So there we go. When I hit H, it will stay up. So it'll show everything for me. I just tap H and it pops up. It's just kind of like a personal preference setting. There we go. And keybinds. Don't really have to go through keybinds. I use an orb weaver instead anyways. Next, I'm going to show you guys what kind of kit I like to run late game. So early game, I'm not going to really show you guys what I like to run. It's pretty basic what you run early game, but I'll show you what kind of PvP kit I like to run when I am running a PvP kit. Okay guys, time to show you guys what I like to run on my personal body when I'm fighting. So first off, I like to carry a shotgun. I like the hollow sight. I kind of just like how the crosshair looks on it and everything. And when you aim in, I really like it. So this is what I like to carry. And I keep it in my one slot for my close-up weapon. Some people prefer flamethrowers. So if you're not a very good shot with a shotgun and prefer to just run up to someone and spray them with a flamethrower, that's a good replacement for this slot. For slot 2, obviously a whip. A whip comes in handy in many things, such as picking up flamethrowers off the ground. That's a bad example. But if it just gets tossed out like this, I don't know why it's not working. There we go. You can pick it up. Okay, that was a bad example. Sometimes whips don't work like that. Also, you can whip weapons out of people's hand. You can make dinos move. You can make dinos land. If you get picked, you can look up, hit them, knocks them off their tame. So whip is useful for a lot of things. I recommend carrying one around. For my third slot, I like to carry around a long neck with a scope on it. Lots of people like Fabbies instead in this slot, but long neck does more damage per shot than a Fabby. I know you can spray a Fabby, but long neck is just my preferred choice of weapon. I don't know why. I hit more shots with it. I think it's when you get a kill with it, it feels a lot more satisfying because you know you just did a lot of damage to that person. So I don't know, my personal choice. Next is going to be a sword. So it's always nice to have a melee weapon to break down boxes. Also, if you get grappled, pull out one of these, swing, it cuts the grapple. That's why I prefer a sword over a pike. So yeah, sword is my choice of weapon for melee, I guess you can say. So next, in my fifth slot, carry bolas. Bolas are always nice. You can immobilize a player, a tame, a PT, and I think it lasts 15 seconds. Speaking of that, a whip is another good thing. If one of your tribe-mates gets bulled, you can whip them out of the bola. So that's always a positive thing. In my sixth slot, I like to carry a spyglass. Obvious reasons. You can see tame levels. You can see like offline timers. You can see what player you're fighting. Also, if your bird's like way high in the air, you can like whistle it down with the spyglass. It reaches farther. So that's why I always have a spyglass on me. Next is going to be a grapple. So grapple for a few reasons. You can reach places you can't normally get. If you get picked by someone with an RG, look down, grapple the ground, pull yourself down and parachute. It's one of the only ways to get you out of an RG. You can whip them off. It's a lot harder. Grapple is the way to go. Also, if you're in a fight, you can grapple someone. Like this works well if they're trying to swim away. So if they're trying to swim away, you jump in the water with them, shoot a grapple, hit the grapple on them, and yeah, pull them back in. And speaking of another thing, if you run out of stam in the water, you can grapple and pull yourself, and you'll go this speed even if you're out. So yeah, always just press crouch to get out of the grapple hook. But yeah, it's a really good thing to have. I love using grapples. A little bit of expensive to make, but they're worth it. On to our next thing is parachutes, for obvious reasons. You know, so you don't die when you fall. When you get picked and whip someone off, parachute. When you're trying to get somewhere and you don't have a tame, jump off a mountain, parachute. Parachutes are always good to have. Make sure you always have them, especially when you're on a flyer. My number 9 slot, I like to carry stimulant for a few reasons. People throw narc nades at you. Stimulant. Getting knocked out by anything. Stimulant. It makes you thirsty though, so I gotta go grab water. Actually, speaking of that, next item, canteen. Always have a canteen on you. But for my 0 slot, it wouldn't let me make them in GCM, and I wasn't gonna go whole set up a crafting station. But for my 0 slot, I either like to carry cooked meat or usually med brews. Med brews are really handy for obviously healing up in a dime. They're really good to use. I recommend once you're in the later game making med brews. If you are in the earlier game, you can make a blood extraction kit and just get like the blood packs from them. That works as well. Okay guys, next item on our list, I'm going to go right to the poison grenades. These are awesome for knocking people out. So say you get a bull on someone, all you have to do is throw the narc nade to knock people out. That's also why I like the stimulants, because if I'm in here getting knocked out, look, I'm right in it. Look, I'll throw it right at the ground. Get another one, just spam these. See, I'm not getting knocked out. All you have to do is spam them. I'm out of them now, so I might get knocked out. No, I'm good. But yeah, all you have to do is spam the stimulants, don't get knocked out. But these are really great for knocking people out, throwing them into people's bases after you blow a door, stuff like that. Speaking about blowing doors, C4. I always carry C4 around for a few reasons. If you run into someone's base, they shut the door, pop a C4, knock it out. Someone's chasing you with a tame, you don't want to deal with it, set up a few C4 on the ground, blow it up when it comes by. See a raid that you want to quickly hit, throw a C4, bam. Also, you can kill level 7 wild Yankees. But yeah, I always carry C4 on me. The last thing I always carry on me, guys, is flippers. Running away from somebody, pop on your flippers, bam. Swim super fast away from them. Really good to have. Not a lot of people like to carry flippers on them, but they weigh half a pound. So for my full kit, we're sitting at about 165 pounds for my full kit. It's not too bad. That's still another room to grab somebody else's full kit and still get away. So kill someone, grab their full kit. This is a pretty heavy duty kit, so if they're not carrying more than you are, you can easily grab a kit. Obviously, like to have your flak on. Hopefully not prim flak, but if that's all you got, flak's better than nothing, okay? So yeah, pretty much stats, settings, the kit I like to run, and also my favorite bird to fly around on. I absolutely love snow owls. Snow owls are great, but you can't pick with them. My favorite thing to pick with is a PT. Snow owls get around the map fast. You can freeze people, jump off, and right when they get unfrozen, throw a bowl at them. Or what you can do is snow owl freeze them, jump off, throw a narc nade at them, and once they get out, they'll just pretty much pass out almost instantly. And for PTs, you want to pick them right when they parachute, C-spin down at them, and it will force them into the ground harder, and the parachute won't affect it. Kill them a lot easier. But yeah, those are my tames of choice, kit of choice, stats of choice, and my settings of choice. So, I do have a custom crosshair, as you guys know. Next video, next Sunday, so next tutorial video, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to get this crosshair, because it's way better. It's not in the way, it's out of the way. There's one problem with it. So how Arc has their center of screen is not the center of your screen. As you can tell, it is off by about half a pixel. So when you're shooting long range, you just have to like make up for it. You know what I mean? But up close, it pretty much hits them. You hit them, you know what I mean? Like, see? Hit them, you hit them. Right on the crosshair. But at a range, you can miss a shot. So I like to keep my crosshair a little bit to the right. So at long range, I just know to go a little bit to the left and then take the shot. And it should hit. So yeah. Okay guys, that's going to be it for my stats and settings and kit tutorial pretty much. If you guys have any questions that I didn't explain, I tried my best to explain everything. But if you guys do have any questions, make sure to just throw it down in the comments, and I'll be sure to go through all the comments and make sure I'm answering everything. But other than that, thank you guys for watching, and if this helped you or gave you an insight on what to stat in or what to carry or anything like that, make sure to leave a like so I know I did a good job. Also, like I said, comment if you have any questions, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe.